Before we descend into today's darkness, it's time for Tasty Treats. This is a new segment where we shine a flickering candle on the indie creators keeping the genre alive. Whether they're writing spine-chilling horror, investigating the local hauntings you're too afraid to visit, or producing the next great paranormal podcast, or even just making cool stuff, their work is essential listening. Today's shout-out goes to
the Hollow Sky Podcast.
Follow the journey of two buddies exploring the paranormal and strange. Steve and Kyle. The guys take turns presenting stories to one another. Topics range from UFOs, Bigfoot, Wendigo, Skinwalker, conspiracies, ghosts, to some of the most bizarre cases you've ever heard. Every Monday, a new episode is released on all podcast platforms. So put the voices in the dark. You can find Hollow Sky Podcast, Instagram at The Hollow Sky Podcast, Facebook and X, Twitter at Hollow Sky Podcast. Contact information. Email hollowskypodcast@gmail.com. General experiences/inquiries. Interviews. hollowskyinterviews@gmail.com. Support indie creators.
So show them some love and give them a follow.
Tell them the Shadow Dweller sent you.
Now, back to the shadows. Into the Abyss, Morbid Morsals podcast.
This episode contains mature language and adult situations.
Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, my unfortunate friends. How is it that you dared stumble into my caverns of the abyss? I am ancient. I am eternal. I have been shackled here for millennia, festering in shadows and silence, growing stronger with your pain and suffering. It was the poison of your darkest thoughts that summoned you to me. I am the Shadow Dweller, your warden, your tormentor, your only companion until the abyss swallows you whole. I have ripped open the portal between the nether realm and your fragile world. My brothers and I are unbound at last, and we come to enslave, to torment, to savor the chorus of your screams. As you trembled in fear, we fed. As you suffered, we grew strong. And now we unleash upon you new nightmares. Twisted tales, ghastly and gruesome stories of the macabre. Chronicles of horrors beyond imagining. Your souls will be harvested, one by one, until none remain. Welcome to Into the Abyss, Morbid Morsals podcast. This morbid morsel is called In Search of the Jabba Fofi.
Tonight, I'm taking you deep into the Congo, 1938, back when maps still had blank spaces and men believed those blank spaces belonged to them. In the Belgian Congo, British explorers Reginald Lloyd and Marguerite Lloyd officially reported a curious sighting: a spider 4 to 5 feet across, crossing the road in front of their truck. That was the public account, but journals recovered later, fragments, stained and incomplete, suggest something far worse. The Baka people had warned them. They called it Fofi, the Great Spider. What you're about to hear is what the forest remembers. Listener discretion advised. Reginald Lloyd believed the world was meant to be catalogued, classified, possessed. Marguerite Lloyd believed the world did not care what men believed. Their truck crawled through a ribbon of carved mud, swallowed on both sides by the jungle, so thick the sunlight turned green. Then the driver slowed. It crossed the road ahead of them, not scuttling, not skittering, walking. Each leg is planted deliberately into the earth, 4 feet across at least, maybe more. Brown, thick-bodied. The abdomen is swollen and bruised purple. It vanished into the undergrowth without a sound. No one laughed. No one spoke, because all of them had the same thought. That was no ordinary spider. 2 days later, they reached a Baka settlement. When they described what they had seen, the eldest hunter did not look surprised. He said one word, Fofi, the Great Spider. He told them the forest had places where the ground clung to your boots, where trees hummed when touched. Webs, not delicate spirals, ropes, strong enough to hold antelope, strong enough to hold men. He told them the young were bright yellow, many, hungry. He told them the Great Mother waited above. Reginald Lloyd dismissed it as folklore. The elder did not argue. He simply said, "Then go, and do not scream when it answers you." It began with a boot stuck to the earth. One of the crew, James, laughed at first, said he'd stepped in sap. Then the ground pulled back. A strand no thicker than a finger snapped tight around his ankle. He fell hard. The forest answered. Not fast, not rushed. Confident. The spider emerged from the darkness like something assembling itself from shadow. 8 legs as thick as a man's wrist. Fangs curved and glossy. James screamed. The spider did not hurry. It pinned him with 2 legs. The fangs descended. They heard the sound of fluid being drawn, a slow, horrible suction. James stopped screaming first, then he stopped moving. The spider dragged him into the trees as if he were made of linen. By morning, they found where he'd gone. The trees were strung together with silk thicker than ship rope, trip lines at knee height, at throat height, across the ground like invisible snares. One man stepped forward to cut a strand. It snapped upward. He was yanked 20 feet into the air, slamming against a trunk upside down. Before anyone could reach him, the yellow shapes came. Baby spiders, hundreds. They flowed over him like spilled paint. He screamed as they bit. Small punctures, dozens, then hundreds. His body convulsed, his voice turned wet. The mother descended. In daylight she was worse. Legs span closer to 15 feet. Her abdomen is mottled brown and violet. 8 eyes reflecting like polished stones. She pierced the suspended man's skull. The sound was soft, like biting into ripe fruit. Panic shattered discipline. The forest became a trap. Webbing clung to faces, rifles, mouths. One man stumbled into a sheet of silk. It wrapped around his chest as he fought. The more he struggled, the tighter it was constricted. You could hear the ribs bending. One snapped, then another. The mother spider lunged. 2 legs impaled his shoulders. The fangs entered beneath his jaw. He did not die quickly. The jungle absorbed his choking. The rain stirred them. From every root and hollow log came the yellow young. Bright, glossy, endless. They leapt onto boots, climbed trousers, bit through fabric. One crewman tore open his shirt, trying to brush them away. They poured inside. His screams turned to gurgles as they bit his neck, his collarbone, his face. He collapsed into the mud that writhed. When the swarm cleared, little remained but torn cloth and red pulp sinking into brown water. Only the Lloyds and one other reached the truck. The engine turned over. Hope flickered. Then something landed on the roof. 8 legs scraped across the windshield. Eyes peered in, close enough to see reflections of their own terror. Fangs punched through the metal like tin. Oil dripped. The third survivor opened the door to run. A strand caught him mid-step. Pulled sideways into the trees so violently, his arm tore free from its socket. The spider dropped from the roof to claim him. The Lloyds drove. They did not look back. They saw a clearing ahead. Open road. Escape. Then the tire struck silk. The truck flipped. Glass exploded. Silence. Reginald crawled from the wreckage. Marguerite did not. He looked up. She hung suspended 20 feet above, wrapped tight in silk, eyes wide and alive. The mother spider stepped into view, fully revealed, leg span enormous, 15 feet if not more. Her body glistened in the wet light. Reginald fired his rifle. One eye burst in a spray of dark fluid. The spider recoiled, enraged. The yellow swarm answered. They climbed Reginald's legs as he reloaded. He felt the first bite on his ankle, then his thigh, then his throat. He fell backward into webbing that tightened instantly around his arms. The mother approached slowly. She drove her fangs into his abdomen. His scream tore through the clearing and broke into a bubbling gasp. Above him, Marguerite struggled against her cocoon. The baby spiders began wrapping her tighter, layer by layer, until her voice faded into muffled silence. The jungle resumed breathing. Officially, Reginald Lloyd and Marguerite Lloyd reported only a roadside sighting. No massacre. No silk forest. No swarm. Perhaps that was easier to publish. The Baka say Jabbar Fofi is rarer now, driven deeper into the rainforest. But they also say the forest never forgets. And sometimes, when the trees hum in the wind, that isn't wind at all. It's silk vibrating, waiting.
There's a certain irony to it. 2 explorers are determined to map every inch of the Congo. Ended up caught in a web they never saw. Turns out the forest had already drawn its boundaries in silk. Empire met apex predator. 8 legs won. Sleep carefully. And if you ever feel the ground tug at your boot, don't pull. Because something might be pulling back. The shadows are closing in. Myself and my brothers, rulers of darkness, retreat to our lair. But do not be deceived. Our hunger is never sated. Your fear, your suffering, your screams, they will linger with us until we return. But know this, you cannot hide. We will hunt you down. We will find you. And when the abyss calls again, it will already be too late. We're already closer than you think. You can run, but the shadows run faster. Next time, we take more than your fear. The abyss never lets go. Until then, this has been Into the Abyss, Morbid Morsals podcast. Sleep if you dare.
To the Abyss. Morbid Morsals podcast has been a Dark Shogun production in association with Twisted Souls Media. Hi, I'm Troy Birch, creator and producer of this horrific show. If you want to help this show spread like a virus to more unsuspecting souls that stumble into the Abyss Morbid Morsals podcast, remember to like, subscribe, download, follow, turn on the notification bell to give you a heads up when a new episode drops. Share the show with everyone who enjoys a little darkness in their day. And if you really want to help summon new Legion listeners, please consider leaving me a 5-star rating and review wherever you can. It really helps get the show in front of more listeners who enjoy immersive audio horror anthology podcasts. Leave a review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. It doesn't have to be a novel, just be honest. Those reviews are like lanterns in the dark. They help more people find their way to this little indie horror podcast, and it only takes a second to click. Drop me a question on Spotify's Q&A feature in the comments section on any episode, and I'll definitely respond. Since your suffering and screams are like a chorus to my ears,
Be sure to check my Linktree.
linktr.ee/Into the Abyss podcast. There you can follow the show's bloody trail across the digital wasteland. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Threads, X, TikTok. Also, you can make a 100% recommendation or leave a review on Facebook or Instagram to suggest other twisted souls to listen. I'm always out there lurking in the dark, posting, connecting, and searching for new, unsuspecting souls to torture. You can also listen to the show on your favorite podcast platforms. Check out DJ Trillium and We Are Legion for the dope music tracks that'll keep your heads nodding. Oh, and I've got some free dope stickers now to rep the Shadow Dweller. Follow me on my socials, leave a review, and when I find it, I'll give you a shout out, or name a character after you in an upcoming episode. If you want one, just DM me on IG, into_the_abyss_podcast, or send a message to thedarkshogun@msn.com. I'll make sure one finds its way to you. Have an idea for a future show? Tell me what kinds of stories you want to hear next. Horror genres? Fantastic stories? Tell me what you're liking. What's creeping you out? What's sticking with you long after the episode ends? Hit me up. Thanks again for listening, supporting, and downloading. Please share the show with friends, family, or anyone who loves horror stories. Talk about it. Remember, Word of mouth is the best way we can grow. Thank you for walking into the darkness with me. And thank you for helping this strange little show reach places I never dreamed it would. I am truly grateful for each and every listener. Remember, whatever darkness that lurks in the shadows will be waiting and visiting you in your twisted nightmares as you spiral into madness.
Welcome to the abyss. Step into the velvet dark with the shadow dweller, your guide through the fractured landscapes of the human psyche. Each episode is a freshly woven tapestry of visceral dread, unearthing the macabre secrets and twisted urban legends that thrive where the light dares not flicker. Let these stories coil around you like a cold mist, haunting, hypnotic and impossible to shake. Pull the covers tight and listen closely. The silence is hungry and the dweller has such delicious nightmares to share before you're finally consumed by the void. Surrender to the shadow dweller. In the suffocating quiet of the dark, a voice emerges to spin sinister chronicles and jagged nightmares designed to haunt your waking hours. Let these rhythmic terrors be your final companion as you drift toward the edge of the ever-hungry abyss. Listen if you dare, the void is already listening to you.